Hello, I'm Chris Packham, and I'm on the set of the BBC Two series Weird World, and I'm here at El Dorado Canyon in Nevada, USA. Now, El Dorado Canyon started its life in terms of human settlement in about 1859, when gold and silver were discovered here. The mine on this particular site was running from 1861 onwards, and it was hugely productive. I mean, this area was really churning out those precious metals, to the extent that they were even listed on the New York Stock Exchange. About 500 blokes were here at that time. It was a rowdy place. You had all the ingredients for things to be rowdy, didn't you, really? You had greed, that's always good for rowdiness, the miners digging things up, probably a paucity of women, or at least decent women. And so there was lots of fighting and murders. In fact, there were a couple of local outlaw Native Americans here. One of them was called Cahoe, and he killed more than 23 people in his time. They finally got fed up with him in the end and chased him off. And he disappeared. And years later, they found him in a cave up here behind the mine. Well, they didn't find him, they found his remains. They were able to identify him by his personal effects, the things that were there. Anyway, we chose the site to film Weird World here because there's so much stuff. In fact, I don't think in my history of roaming the earth I've ever seen so much stuff in one place at the same time. There are no doubt millions and millions of objects here. You see, the proprietor, Tony, well, not to put too fine a point on it, the man's a hoarder. He's a hoarder of enormous magnitude, but he does hoard some magnificent stuff. Perfect as a backdrop for our series. I mean, take a look at this here. This is a gorgeous old thing. This is an old Ford. I'm not sure it's a Model T, but I think it is. Look at that radiator, the patina, it's beautiful. Look at those tyres. Tyres are sensational. Solid rubber, now rotted over wooden rims. And the whole thing is set out in a very picturesque fashion beneath this water tower. In fact, as you can see, the old Ford was being used as a bowser to transport water. And Tony, he's got a particular affinity for old cars. He likes things from the 40s, the 50s, maybe a few from the 30s as well here. Look, there's an old Dodge here. Beautiful red old Dodge. That's gorgeous. And over here, another one of his favourite things to collect are old enamelled signs. He's got loads of them from businesses that have long gone. Many of them gasoline. Look at this, an old petrol pump. And he's laid it all out quite deliberately, I think, to attract people here to take photographs. And most of the time that we're here, there are other photographers photographing this fantastic collection of old flotsam. And it's great. I mean, I can see why they come. I like the pattern of decay that's etched across some of these old vehicles and the buildings. Although I have to say the buildings are new, he's put them up and very cleverly made them look old. And he still goes out scouring the countryside around Nevada and other southern states where it's very dry. And so all of these old things have decayed, but they haven't rusted to complete oblivion. From our point of view, of course, it's an endless source of locations. We've used quite a few of the vehicles, but also the old mine itself. We went down inside. I have to say it was mercifully cool down inside that mine, because out here in the sun, at this point, I'm talking to you in a temperature of about 45 degrees centigrade in the shade. So what it's like out here in the sun, none of us has been brave enough to actually measure, because it's probably about 60 degrees. Our pattern of working has reflected this necessarily. We've been getting up at 4 in the morning, well I have, shaving, washing my hair every day for the last 22 days at 4 in the morning. That's almost obscene, I've got to tell you, really. It's not a very nice time of day to be shaving. I'm just going to break in to show you this. Look at this. Look at that. What a fantastic amount of chrome on the front of this old car. It's a Buick, I think. Yeah, nice to look at, but not so nice to have to clean. I suppose people had more time in those days, didn't they? In the 1950s. Didn't have emails to deal with. They could just kneel down in front of all that chrome and get polishing. Anyway, yeah, excruciatingly hot. So we've been filming in the morning, and then we've been trying to kick it in the head by about 10 o'clock, going back for a bit of a siesta, and then coming out in the afternoon from 3 o'clock through to about 8. And I won't deny that it's actually been a pretty tough shoot. So far I have done probably about 290 pieces to camera, all of the links that we've been doing. But of course it's not just me that's been suffering from the heat, everyone's really been tortured. On average we've been drinking 10 litres of water a day, and even then we continue to feel exhausted. So it's a beautiful place, it's a perfect location in very many ways, but it's been quite tiring. Now it's worth going through here because this allows you to see a little bit of the natural habitat. Look at all of these cacti that are surrounding me here. Now these are devilish things. The spines are excruciatingly sharp. I'm going to stick that baby down in there perilously. And they have barbs on, so if they attach themselves to your skin, you then pull the cactus to pieces, it catapults onto you, impaling you further. And then you have to use a pair of pliers, or in fact someone else does if they're generous, a pair of pliers to remove the spines. It doesn't hurt that much. It didn't happen to me on this particular shoot. It got our executive producer, got him a treat actually. Oh gosh, that was terrible. None of us laughed. No, of course not. No. Particularly as he'd been the person that had been wandering around saying, whatever you do, don't get nabbed by the cactus. We did one of the pieces. Over here, look, this will demonstrate just how rich a resource this place has been for us. Yeah. We were talking about coding, binary coding, and in fact the coding on DNA, the pairs that link together to produce the coding. So we used this old piano here. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, because we were talking about coding music. I can't play the piano, but then that piano is unplayable, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, that's about it really. Our shoot's nearly coming to an end now. We're a bit walking wounded, if I'm very honest with you. But it's still a great pleasure to come out here. And at the moment I'm speaking to you at about, oh goodness me, must be about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And the light's not particularly nice, it's really fierce, bright, overhead sun. When the sun sets here, and when it's rising in the morning, lovely warm, orange desert light has been truly, truly spectacular. It really has. So, it's been good fun. Really hope that you get to enjoy the series. It's got some really weird stuff in it, all sorts of things. I couldn't begin to tell you. There's been such a catalogue of surprising, curious and unusual stories. Anyway, there we are. Feel free to explore our 360 view of our remarkable set from BBC Two's Weird World.